Hi, this is Paul at PATools, and in this video today we're looking at the File Manager, which is part of the PATools Excel Toolbox. The easiest way to see the File Manager in action is probably to use the demo workbook. So this has opened up the demo workbook, and we have got three tabs in here: Create Folders and Delete Folders, Create Files and Delete Files, and Copy, Move, Rename and Replace. So we will have a look at each of these, and we'll start off with creating folders. Now Excel has the benefit that you can create a function like this that combines a formula like this that combines different cells to give you what looks like a folder path, and then in future if you edit that and change that and go and change this, then all of those automatically update. So we have got here a folder called C Demo already, and it's empty at the moment. So if I go now and select these 12 cells and do PATools File Manager, and we're going to create folders and just do Run, they've all turned green, and we've got a nice summary here: date and time we started, what we were doing, what happened on each of those 12 cells, and 12 completed and 0 not completed. And at any time you can always come into this and see details of last run, and it will show you the last run that you did. So if we go and look now in that folder, we've got here those 12 folders now: C Demo, a folder for each month of the year. Of course they don't look very good because the alphabet doesn't follow the order of the months. So we could go and delete them, or we could use our tool here to delete them, which we'll do. Delete files or folders, Run, and yes to all, and it's gone and completed and deleted all 12 folders, and you'll see here they've now gone. Just to show you the Excel formulas in action, I've got here a slight adapted version of this that I prepared earlier, where I have now inserted 1, 2, 3, 4 like this over here, and adjusted the formulas to incorporate that. So if I run these here, File Manager, and by the way you can clear all colours on the worksheet just by clicking there, and this is the option to colour them. I like to see them turn green to see that things have happened. So I'll do Create Folders, Run, and that's created those 12 folders. And if we go and have a look, they now look a bit better because they're in correct order, because the number 1, 2, 3, 4 in the beginning has put them looking correct. So let's just go now and delete those folders. And they've all deleted. If we go back over here and go in there, it's now empty. Now that's not just a very small simple example. I've got up here a more realistic example to demonstrate how Excel can really be powerful and useful for doing this. You may have job folders to create. So I've created a path here, C Demo job number, or C Demo job file job number, and then in here I've got a very simple Excel formula that just adds 1 to the cell above all the way down, and then I've got a subfolder for costs, timesheets, sales invoices and miscellaneous. And over on the right here I've used the text join, the new text join formula here, to join those three together and create a job path. Or over here I've used the ampersand formula to connect that and that and that. There's also concatenate as another formula you can use. And then by copying these formulas down like this and so on, they automatically adjust, and I've now got 200 folders ready to create. So let's run PATools File Manager, create folders, Run on 200 cells, and this is a more realistic example of what we would use. Close. So if we go over here now, have a look in C Demo, we've got job files, and in there we've now got all of these job folders set up, and I go into any one of them and they've got the subfolders for costs, miscellaneous, sales invoices and timesheets. So that's very, very useful. You could of course go and delete a selection of these if you want. You could go and delete them all. If you're deleting them all, it's quicker and easier to do it from here, of course. But just to demonstrate, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to insert a column here, and in here I'm going to say equals that and that. Copy that down, and let's just go and delete the first 20 for now. File Manager, and by deleting these folders it'll also delete the subfolders, so you don't actually have to go and delete all 200. You effectively just have to delete the top level ones if you want. So I'll do yes to all, and that's completed and deleted job files 1 to 20, 1001 to 20. So if we go in here now, it starts on 1021. Okay, so we'll go to job files, delete those, just do it manually. Let that finish off, takes a moment. There we go. And just to show you over here, of course, a tidier way of creating these 200 is actually just to have these in here once, not all the way down, and you just fix the with the dollar sign so they always refer to the same cells as you copy the formula down. So if you're familiar with that, that's a more tidy way, because if you ever want to change one of these, say you wanted to change that to just be ins like that, you change it and they've all changed here. You haven't got to copy it all the way down. Right, we'll close that down. So that is creating folders and deleting folders. Now we'll move on to tab 2, creating files. So in a similar way, what we've done here is we've created a name of a file that we're going to make by concatenating different bits from over here. So I'm going to just go and change this from demo folder like that to C demo, and all of these have automatically adjusted, and let's go and create these now. File Manager, create files, and before I run it I'll just show you basically what's going to happen is it's going to create a file called this, and if the path doesn't exist it'll create it. It'll look for C demo, make that if it doesn't exist, then look for January 2018 within that, make that if it doesn't exist, and then it'll create this file, testfile1.txt, and the contents of that file will be whatever's in the cell to the right. So this one will say this file was created as that. Okay, so I've just used that as a formula. You can look at this at your leisure in the demo. So I'll select those and I'm going to create, I don't select all of this, I just select these. File Manager, create files, run, yes, and it's created 12 files for us in a folder called January 2018. So if we come over here and have a look, job files needs deleting, there's the folder January 2018, and there's those 12 files. And if we look at the content of any one of those, this file was created as cdemo January 18 testfile3.txt. So that's created those files. Similarly, if I go into File Manager and want to delete some of them, File Manager, delete files or folders, run on 7 of them, yes to all. So that's deleted 3 to 9, and if we go and have a look, 1, 2 and 10 onwards still exist. And if I now want to delete those others and just select the whole lot, delete files or folders, run, yes, yes to all, and you'll see that these of course didn't complete and they failed because of the source. The source wasn't there, obviously it wasn't there because we deleted it just a moment ago. So you'll see it successfully did the others but not these, and it's reported them as a failure, which is what we expected. So we go back and now they've all gone. So that's creating files and deleting files. Let's just go and create them one last time for the next part of the demonstration. So that's created them again. There they all are. And so now we move on to tab 3. Now what we're going to do is, in the same way here, we better change that back to demo for January. Let's just go and get it from there. So these files that we created just now, we're now going to copy into new files here. Let's do copy first. So we're going to copy to file, run for those 12, yes to all, and it's copied these files into a new folder called January 2019 and testfile1.html. So let's go and see those. In the demo folder is now January 2019, and there's copies of those files called HTML. Of course, these aren't actually HTML files. If we just go and look at one of them and open with Notepad, it still has the same content as before. It is actually a copy of the text file. It's not a true HTML file. But that's just to demonstrate that you can use different type of flat files in here. And obviously move and rename work in a similar way. Whatever you've got in here and whatever you put in there, it'll attempt to move that to there or rename it. If we now look at replace and select these, basically what happens is a search and replace within flat files up here. It basically says I'm going to search in this file, I'm going to save my result in this file, and if this is blank it will save it in the same, overwrite the same file. So this could be blank, and then it's going to do a find and replace. It's going to find that and replace with that, find this, replace with that, within the file, remember, not the file names, until it comes across a blank. So you could have as many of find and replaces as you want over here on the right. So let's select these, File Manager, and you can clear the colors by just clicking here, although it automatically clears if you're recoloring on each run. So I'm going to search and replace within flat files. We'll do run. Are you sure? Yes. Yes to all. And they've all completed. And so you can see it's got the summary here of what it did. And if we now go and have a look, so we will expect the January 19 HTML files to now have 2019 in them and .html, not 18 and text. Let's go and see if that's happened. So if we look at this one again now, open it again with Notepad, it now says this file was created as cdemo January 2019 testfile3.html. So it's successfully replaced 2018 there with 19 and .txt on the end here with .html. So that can be very useful for working with flat files. If you've got HTML and you want to go and update links in lots of files or something like that, you can use this. So that is the main features of the file manager from up here. There's one we haven't looked at, delete only empty folders and subfolders. So I've got a folder, that a demo I've set up earlier here. Sorry, no I haven't. What I've done is I have set up demo for empty here. So this is a new folder here, demo for empty, and there's a folder 1 which is not empty. It's got a file inside it. Folder 2 which is empty, and folder 3 which is not empty. It's got a file inside it. And in fact, let's go and just create a new folder in here called new folder, and we'll remove that text file. So we'll see what happens if we run it on these 3. That, remember, is not empty, it's got a file in it. This one is empty. This is not empty because it's got a folder in it, but that folder is actually empty. So we go into File Manager, delete only empty folders and subfolders. Not going to run it on there. We've actually got to go and put in here this demo for empty. Now we could, there's various ways you can do that. If you click there, you can then do copy that onto the clipboard. You can go and by selecting folder and holding down the shift key and right click, you can copy as path, like that, and that's put the path on the clipboard. Or the third way you can do it is using the file manager here. You can put a folder name into the current cell, and then it prompts you and you can go and pick it. So if we go and pick it this way, demo for empty like that, and do OK, and it's put in there C demo for empty. It's done it for us in the correct format. Similarly, you can go and put a file name into the current cell, so those are quite useful to use as well. So now we're going to delete only empty folders and subfolders within there. Run on one cells, are you sure? Yes. And you'll see deleting empty folders. We got the results there. Let's go and have a look and see what happened. It succeeded. So if I go for demo for empty, the only one that's left is not empty because it actually had a file inside it. So even the number 3, which had a subfolder but that subfolder was empty, it deleted it. So basically that only deletes if there's no files inside them, otherwise it'll delete the whole tree. So we've looked at all of these now. We've looked at this. We've seen these top two in in operation. List contents of a folder, that can be handy if you want to go and do something, if you want to create one of these. So if I come over here and run it, say list contents of a folder, it's going to insert a column and list the folder in there. So oops, I go into SPC C and run it on C test, for example. OK, and it's listed 34 items from that folder for us here. And then you could obviously, if you wanted to apply a filter, you could put in something here, A and B, and you could apply a filter, and you could do just everything .xlsx like that, and see, oops, xlsx, if I could type, and you'll see just the Excel spreadsheets that were in there, and I could copy them over to here. Oops. So paste the values in over here. No, that's not working on the filter. Let's clear the filter. Let's just copy them all over to there. Now I'll apply the filter. This time I'll just do txt files, say. And so at the moment I've got now the text file showing. I can come and edit this, and it might be that I would want to do something with these manually, so I'd want to make this copy to text, and I'd want to make this copy 3A text, something like that, 2A text. So I'd know what I want to do, and these three here now, I want to just copy them. So if I do File Manager and do Copy to File, so I'm going to copy this file into a file called that. I've only selected 3 cells, and because there's a filter applied, it understands that, so it's only going to run on those 3, rows 13, 14 and 15. So it would ignore, actually that's not very good because they're together. So if I do these data new text, so if I do it like this and copy these, File Manager, and copy to file, it's still only going to run on the 4 cells. It's going to ignore row 16 because that's hidden by the filter. So that's quite clever. Yes to all, and all 4 completed. And so it's completed those. If I unfilter here, clear the filter, it didn't do this one here. It just did those 4. And it didn't do all the others that were hidden either. So it does understand filtering, and you can filter out information and run just on the rows that show. That is listing contents of a folder. Those who are familiar with the file lister, which is even more powerful, will understand that you can then list out folders, subfolders, and list file, zip file contents and things, and you can then work on those using the file manager. The file lister shown in a different video. We will just look at the other parts of the file manager. Open the first n lines of a large flat file. This is something that we found useful from time to time when we're dealing with files that are perhaps big address files that are literally millions of rows long. They're too big even to open in Excel, and if you want to just look at the first part of it, you can use this. So if I click on that, it says where's the file that you want to open, and I've created one earlier, C test demo large flat file. It's quite a big file, it's not all that big, but it's reasonable size. How many lines do I want to see? Let's say I want to see 200, do OK, and it's opened the first 200 lines into book 3. And so if I go down to the bottom there, you can see it's just 200 lines of that big flat file. That flat file, if we go and look at it, where was it? Test demo large file.txt. Even opening it in Notepad takes a moment, and it's really not that big. If I can do Control End, you see it's just 10,010 lines of data. But as I say, when you deal with files that are millions of rows long, which are too big to open in Excel, it can be nice just to see the first 500 lines or something like that in Excel, just to see what's in it and if it's what you expect it to be. So that can be a useful little tool for dealing with large, very large flat files. The final thing here is the hyperlink selected cells, and you may know that if you type into cells an email address like that, Excel helpfully adds a hyperlink, and similarly with a website. And you don't always want those, because if you want to select that cell, it can actually be a real pain because it goes off and creates an email. So by selecting from around it like this, you can then go File Manager, Hyperlink Selected Cells, and it toggles between hyperlinks on and off. So it's taken them off now, so you can then go and work on these with it. When you click on them, it doesn't open up the web page or create an email. And similarly, if I select those two cells now and do File Manager and click, it will attempt to put in hyperlinks, which it's successfully done because it's an email address and a website. So that is the File Manager. When used in conjunction with a file lister, which can go and get subfolders of information, and then you can analyze them, you can look for duplicate files, you can filter them out, you can then use the File Manager to delete the duplicates. That can be very powerful. So those two work together very nicely. Thank you for watching, and we hope you find it as useful as we do. I do recommend you just play with it. If you use this demo file to start with, it can help you get going. But if you're good with Excel formulas, you will very quickly understand how you can build file paths like this and create, delete, rename, work with multiple files and folders very quickly and very easily. But just be careful. Great, thank you for watching. Bye for now.